Peace, y'all. Before we get started, I felt compelled to remind everyone to stay safe and stay abreast of all the atrocities happening around the world. The people of Palestine, Tigray, Congo, Sudan, Haiti, and countless other territories are currently fighting for their rights and their lives. And if you're choosing to take action, please take every precaution you can. Stay hydrated, stay in groups, cover your face, and please, more than anything, don't lose hope. I've been leaving links to organizations and resources at the bottom of every episode description for a good minute, so please go check those out for places to donate and to find ways to take action today. We're not free until all oppressed people in the States and abroad are free. Much love, stay strong, and stay dangerous. What's good, y'all? My name is Dylan Green, and this is Real Notes, a space dedicated to blurring the cultural and artistic lines between rap and film. I'm here to chop it up with everyone from rappers and producers to journalists and video directors about their relationship to movies and how, if at all, film inspires their craft. My guest this week is New Jersey rapper Wiseboy Jeremy. We spoke about Third World Cop, The Substance, reading, bootleg DVDs, the magic of renting movies and games, growing up with rap, R&B, and reggae, getting over his elitist hip-hop phase, early Soundcloud songs and motivations, and the creative process behind several of his projects, most notably last month's Pumpkin Seeds, produced entirely by Kirti Pandey. Come fuck with us. What's cracking, everybody? Welcome back. What's my show called? Welcome back to Real Notes. It's the late afternoon, kicking it. My arms are sore as shit. I got my COVID and flu shots because I don't know. It's that time. It's that time. Be safe. Don't be sick. Don't go to the post office in the middle of the afternoon. That shit sucks. It's hella people. You're gonna piss off the ladies when you don't know how to write an address down. My name's Dylan Green, CineMasai, got a lot of names, do a lot of shit, outside, inside, all sides. Feeling great. And I'm with somebody else who's feeling great and is all over the place. And I've had a lot of respect for the way that, as somebody who stays in Jersey and constantly moves between there and New York, I have a lot of respect for anybody who constantly makes the hike the way he does, especially from he's a little further down than me. So it's even more impressive when, my people down in, just everywhere, just Jersey represent. And we got one of Jersey's finest who's it's been incredible to see him grow, and the new project's great. We got fucking Wiseboy Jeremy. Jeremy is in the house. South Jersey's finest. Fucking Pumpkin Seeds is out now, produced by the indelible Kirti Pandey. We love you, Kirti. Thank you for the shit. I was just talking to Kirti a couple days ago. He's amazing. Jeremy, brother, thank you so much for being here. It means the world.
Thank you, bro, and thank you for that beautiful, warm intro right there.
No doubt. It's just, I don't know. It's been great to see the growth. We actually met in person for the first time this summer.
And we did. It was at Loudmouth, right?
No, it was at Young World.
Young World. Okay, word, bro. This summer's been so up and down for me. And one thing that I was thinking about with this interview specifically is because I've known about it for a little minute, and I like that we got a chance to meet a couple times in person, kind of get acclimated to each other before we moved into the conversation. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, that's dope. I knew it was a couple times that we saw each other and everything.
Yeah, no, because it was a Young World at first. I think we were right next to the stage. And then it was at Loudmouth, probably barely even a couple weeks after that.
Right.
And I'm so sorry I missed I'm so sorry I missed the album release show. I was somewhere else that night. But it's I just always got to stay locked in and connected with my Jersey people. We're people been sleep on Jersey forever, but it feels like, especially right now, there's such a, I don't know, there's such a pocket of people really popping and doing crazy shit out here. So anybody who reps the state, I gotta be tapped in with somehow. So shout out to you, honestly.
Thank you, bro. Shout out to you. And yeah, man, Jersey, it's a lot of great things going on here. It always has been. You know what I'm saying? I feel like I'm always learning somebody new from Jersey, every day. But right now, in terms of the underground scene and everything, there's a lot of people from Jersey that are really carving out a specific lane, building a specific world for herself. And it's so beautiful to see just everything come together under the one umbrella,
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I almost never ask this question, but it feels organic, so I'm gonna do it now. Who are some of your favorites coming up right now? Like, who are some of like the people running next to you that you're like, watch for them? Like,
Are we only doing Jersey, or are we doing just like people doing their thing in general?
let's keep it to Jersey. That
Oh
that
man.
feels right.
Okay, so man, number one, I gotta give it to my dog Trevor Spitta. He's been going crazy. He's got a crazy album that's about to drop this year too. Soul Child is another one. She's amazing. That's the
Yeah,
homie. Like
shout
that's
out y'all.
family right there.
Amazing.
My dog Richie XO been going crazy. He dropped a crazy album this year. Cash Cores is another one. Let me see. Justice Xavier. Shout out to Justice Xavier. He's also doing great things right now. Jersey. I feel like I'm forgetting somebody, and I don't want to forget nobody for the Jersey list because uh man, Trevor, Soul, Justice, Richie, Cash, my nigga Devin Amana. Devin Amana is going stupid right now. Um yeah, I'm gonna leave it at that. I don't want to make the list too big, and then I'm gonna feel worse if I forget somebody. So I'm gonna keep it like that. Keep it homies, keep it family. But man, everybody from Jersey right now that I'm seeing is like going absolutely stupid, and I love to see it.
Yeah, man. It's really a beautiful time. I got to see Soul Child play live for the first time a couple weeks ago at Endless
Mhm.
Summer, and yeah, I mean, like I had already been a fan, but she's incredible. So like
Yeah,
I just like we just got to put on however we can, and that's why you're here, and that's why
very
this is
true.
tight. God damn. So let me ask you the first question I ask everybody who comes on here, which is
Hmm.
what was the last movie or TV show you watched that you had a strong opinion about?
A strong opinion about I would say, you ever seen the movie Everything Everywhere All at Once?
Oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I watched it recently, and it's psychological my brain a little, and kind of just make me like look at something differently, like a specific thing or like a specific concept or idea. And like that one was like it was all over the place, and like I'm hooked from a movie instantly. If I gotta try to understand something, I feel like I'm within the movie, if that makes sense. You know what I'm saying? So as soon as it started, I'm drawn in. You know what I'm saying? The shots were amazing. I loved how it was colored and everything, and then the plot just kind of started right away. Just like a quiet family and everything, and then like I would have never expected it to the toll that it did. You know what I'm saying? I do think that's a great
Yeah,
question because I do watch a lot of shit that I don't have strong opinions about because I feel like stuff is just so back and forth. But that was the last movie where it was like, yo, that was really good. Like I enjoyed that, and I was present the whole time I was watching the movie. You know?
yeah, type shit. I saw it. I saw it twice in the theater, and I think I might have watched like 40% of it some other time, like randomly on
Mhm.
TV. But I love that movie. I think it's great. It's a it like it had been a while since I've seen a movie that big, kind of go that broad and that like brave and weird and just
Right.
like you said, like tones all over the map and bringing all this different like dream logic and multiverses and
Literally,
superhero
bro.
logic and it just like I don't know, like it was just this big, it was just this big ass it was just this big ass mixture of
Hmm.
fun shit, thoughtful shit, deep shit, sad shit,
Yeah.
and yeah, I loved it. I thought it was great. I've actually been meaning to run it back up. It's been at least a year since I've seen it, and I and I,
Hmm.
and I want to run it back for sure.
Great movie. I do think I should watch it again too, just to kind of like pick up anything that I might have missed. And I usually don't do
Right,
that, but that movie was definitely so complex. So I want to take some time to just like lock in, shut everything else out, and just try to like sit and watch it, pick up little shit I might have missed
right.
before and everything.
Right. Like to be honest, and you're like even thinking about it now, like the character of Jobu Tapaki is one of like the coolest. Like I wouldn't even call her a villain because like I mean like, she's like a villain for like the first half of the movie, and then she's just
Right.
not. Like like everyone's position in the movie changes. Like like protagonists are villains, and villains
Right.
become not heroes, but like I don't know. Like I feel like I feel like the moral of the story is there are no heroes, and everyone's just human and trying to figure shit out and
Literally.
not get too dragged up in it. Like seeing a movie like that impact the way it did, and like I don't give a shit about the Oscars no more. But like
Right.
seeing a movie like that win Best Picture was pretty wild for me
Hmm.
because like once again like even I just had this thought earlier this week because I saw The Substance, which maybe I'll get into in a second. But like even if I didn't fuck with it, just like the fact that it was so weird and so out there and like something that like encouraged people to make a thing that's not just that doesn't just like fit in the regular box. Like I'd want to support it just to I'd want to support it just to encourage people to make more weird shit. You know,
Right.
like that's what I'm about. I want to see people push the boundaries however they can. So
Literally. And I feel like when it comes to movies, especially now, like everything has kind of gotten like everything has been done, you know what I'm saying, for lack of a better term. So to see a movie like that, because I didn't know it was a claim like that and won an Oscar, but to see it get recognized, something that like pushes the creative envelope and pushes the narrative, like that's beautiful. And it shows a step in the right direction for cinema, in my opinion.
right, yeah, no, I agree. Like and there's I don't want to get too deep into it, but there's a like the the scene or the universe where she's like a movie star and
Mm-hmm.
she and her husband meet up and they're not married, but he's like, oh, in another dimension I would have loved to just like do taxes with you. Like
Right.
that whole universe is based on a very particular strain of Hong Kong cinema that
Mm-hmm.
I came up loving in like college and shit. And like it had been so and oh, I'm blanking on the director's name now. Wong Kar-wai, that's his name.
Mm-hmm.
So
Okay.
like he's made a bunch of movies like Chungking Express and god damn it. See, I'm already fucking the names up. Maybe I'll remember him later. But
Where it'll
like
pop up.
I yeah, it'll pop up. But like the thing I love is that there's so many references and so many details and so many like you could really tell it was these two people just like unleashing their brains on a script and just like references and touchstones and just like
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I feel like I'm rambling. I feel like my
Nah,
thoughts
you're
aren't as
good,
together
bro.
as they could be. But the shit is
I
just like
definitely
it's
understand.
just tight. Like it really like yeah. Like I left the theater being like, wow, like that's how a movie's supposed to make you feel. Like I
Right.
was like dead hype when I left, like inspired to go make something. I don't know. Like I might have like
Mm-hmm.
made some bullshit for dinner, just like, oh yeah, like I was different. I don't know. It really had me on some shit.
But like you said, that's how a movie or like any creative output should feel. You know what I'm saying? It should make you want to create and make you want to do something and make something, put something out to the universe. So
Yeah, bro. And I felt that same way, like maybe even a little bit more. I saw the substance on what was it? No, a week from or last week. Last week
mm-hmm.
today. I saw the substance. I don't know if you've heard of the substance. Have
I
you?
haven't. Mm-mm.
So, okay, long story short, it's a movie about this actress who's in her like she just turned 50 years old. She's like won an Oscar and she has her own it's like a daytime aerobics TV show, like on some like
Okay.
Jane Fonda jazzercise type shit. And
Type.
she gets fired by the studio that makes it. And after she gets fired, this company reaches out to her with this thing called the substance that
Okay.
can help her like once you take the substance, you become like a perfect idealized version of yourself, quote unquote, where like you know like you're young I mean like you're younger, like you look younger, you look better, whatever. So she takes it, and the way it works when you take this, it's like your younger self is in a different body, but you both share one consciousness, and you
Mm-hmm.
have to like when the older body isn't being used, you have to like feed it this like food through like a tube that you inject in its back, and like
Mm-hmm.
you have to switch out between the young body and the old body every week, or else I don't want to spoil it. Go
I'm
see
gonna for
it.
sure
It's
watch it though. I'm
also
for sure watch it.
it, it it's also fucking weird and out there. It's
Mm-hmm.
on some like body horror, like sci-fi type shit. It's like real gross. Like especially the last like 45 minutes are like super fucking nasty. Like
Word.
lots of practical effects, lots of blood and gore. Like it was
Mm.
like I left out of there I left out of there ready to go write something, like ready to go like make a thing and just like I don't know. Like I saw it with the homie Fat Boy Sharif, and like the both of us were just like yelling and screaming about it when we got out. It was amazing. Like just go see the substance if you can find it.
Word.
Shit
I'm
is
gonna
fire.
definitely tap in. Also, shout out to Fat Boy Sharif. He's from Jersey too.
Yeah, man, that's
Oh,
Rahway's
great.
finest right there. He's yeah. Like yeah, I'll never yeah I'll never have enough good things to say about Sharif. So
Yeah,
definitely.
bro. I actually
Um
I had the pleasure of meeting him one time. It was backstage at a show that I did this summer, And it was mad cool because like as soon as we seen each other, it was one of those things where like we knew who each other was and we just hadn't got the chance to like meet formally yet. You know what I'm saying? So it was cool. I think we took a couple pictures and everything, just chopped it up. So yeah, shout out to him. And he's like cool with my management and everything. So
Oh yeah, yeah, right. Because you're managed by Dante. Yeah,
yes, sir.
right. Who I don't know, but I mean, like I know who he is. Obviously, Dante Russ
Hmm.
is a fucking legend. But yeah, nah, like shout out to Dante, shout out to Sharif
Yeah, man.
family,
The OG right there.
family. Yeah, for real. I still got to read his book. I gotta find a copy. But
Yeah, me too, bro. Like I do want to get my hands on it. I know he dropped the audiobook and everything, and I told him like, yo, this might suffice until I get my hands on like a copy, but I don't know. I'm such like there was a point in my life where I was like a physical book reader, like to the death, bro. Like I just love collecting and reading books and everything. So for a moment like that, I definitely want to just like to hear his story and to understand him more as a person. I want to like grab the actual physical book and like flip through the pages, smell the book and everything like that. Like it's an experience reading for me. You know what I'm saying? It was real. I don't want to say ritualistic for me back in the day, but it was kind of like, bro, going to the bookstore, buying the book, and then it has a certain smell, and then you open the book, and then you read the credits and the prologue and all that shit. Like I loved every part about reading and everything. So like just to scratch that itch, I told him like, yo, I definitely need a copy of the book, you know?
yeah, heard that, man. Like, yeah, I have a really hard time reading books digitally. Like, I can't read them on my phone. Like,
Mm-hmm.
the closest I'll get is like downloading a PDF onto a computer, but like I need to have the book or else it's not gonna get read. Like, that's
Right,
just
bro.
like no, like that's me. It's like I did that with the Dilettime, which I got as a gift randomly, and I just like I
Mm-hmm.
blew through that shit in like a month. Like that book was fucking amazing. Like I'm reading man, I said this like 2-3 weeks ago. I'm reading Asada Shakur's autobiography right now. I have it in my backpack, and like I'll probably read like 3 or 4 chapters of that at a time. But it's like you, like I need to have the book or else it's not gonna get read. That's just
Literally.
yeah. Like
Yeah, man, it's something about it. I want to get back into reading more too, like in my day to day. Like that was for sure, like when I was in high school and everything. And I still like to collect books and everything. I just like I want to read them, bro. But I feel like I just same thing with the movie tip, kind of like I feel like I don't be having the time, and I want to like just make the time to do those things. You know what I'm saying? Just like set some time aside from my daily life because I feel like I be moving like a mile a minute, bro. I want to set some time aside to like read, watch movies and shit like that. Like get into more literature and media and everything because I just kind of feel like it'll just strengthen what I'm doing, if that makes any sense. You know what I'm saying? It'll widen my frame of references and everything like that. And kind of like I said, I like the psychological movies because they put you in like this position where you kind of look at shit different or you have no choice but to look at shit different. You know what I mean? So yeah,
yeah.
man, I kind of want to just start reserving that time for both movies and books. You know what I'm saying? So hopefully next year I'll have a lot more time to do things like that.
Yeah, not easy. It's like yeah, it's nice to kind of give your brain a break and watch the way other people's brains work and how they can like implement that creatively. I
Mm-hmm.
watched like I'm trying to lock myself back into like watching a bunch of things at one time, like in terms of
Mm-hmm.
like movies, just like back to back or like day to day or whatever. Like it's
Right.
October, it's spooky season. I just watched this joint called Troll Hunter that I had seen for the first time like 10 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
Like it just like popped up on my HBO Max, and I was like, yeah, let me run this, and it was go watch Troll Hunter. That's a fun one. It's like a like it's a mockumentary about a bunch of Norwegian kids who are making like some sort of nature documentary for their college, and
Mm-hmm.
they find this guy who's like a troll hunter who works for the government. Like in this, I mean, like trolls exist. They're like out in the woods, and this guy has to kill him, and he's like some like low level government bureaucrat who doesn't get paid enough to do it, and it's
Mm-hmm.
like. Like when I say trolls, I mean like the OG, like old school trolls, like like they can't go out in the sunlight or they'll turn to stone. They can smell the blood of
Word.
the they can smell the blood of a Christian man, like all that shit. Like they're fucking 50 feet tall, like and it's just like this guy just hunting trolls on some like Blair Witch Project shit. It's cool. I liked it.
Word. Yeah, I gotta tap in, bro.
Yeah. Like at some point I want to get back into books, but
Mm-hmm.
I want to take it all the way back with you for a minute. What's the first movie experience you can remember having, Jeremy? It could be at the theater, it could be at your cousin's house, like just the first thing that comes to mind for you.
The first movie experience, I'd probably say You ever heard of the movie Third World Cop?
Yeah, but remind me what it's about.
Um, I don't remember the plot exactly, but it was kind of I don't want to I don't want to fuck up the plot, bro, but it was definitely about just like crime and like drugs in Jamaica, and it was kind of just going over like kind of life in third world countries, like how shit really is. Not like on no documentary shit, but it was a motion picture and everything. And I don't want to say it was too heavily focused on like crime or the law. It was kind of like right in between. It was probably some like stronger backbone narrative that I'm forgetting, but I do remember bootlegging that movie, or my people's bootlegging that movie, and me and my sister at the time, we would just watch it like over and over and over again. You know what I'm saying? And it was a couple movies that we would do that with. I'm sure you heard of the movie Shotas, right?
Oh yeah, yeah. I've
Yeah,
heard of Shantas. Yeah.
that was a classic. A lot of people that I know, everybody's always talking about Scarface, Scarface, Scarface. I actually didn't like Scarface. Was a pivotal part of my childhood, but Blow was. You ever heard of Blow?
Oh, of course I've heard of Blow.
Yeah,
I
like
I
Blow
I
was
I also fuck with Blow more than Scarface. Yeah, sorry.
word. Like Blow was my Scarface though. You know what I'm saying? Like that was the movie that we really, you know what I'm saying, that scratched that face, for lack of a better term, it for us. So it was that movie. Um, yeah, it's a couple movies I can name, but my first movie experience would probably just be like bootleg and shit. You know what I'm saying? Like that would walk past the laundromat with the book bag of the CDs and shit. And I just remember my dad would step out like, "Yo, what you got?" type shit, and then he come back with a bunch of movies. And like this is back in these times. I want to say this is like maybe 2006, 2007. Like this is when the bootlegs were kind of like legit. You know what I'm saying? Like it wouldn't be like a nigga walking in front of the motion picture screen or nothing like that. Like it was actually like a movie for cheap. You know what I'm saying? Like it was legit. You know what I'm saying? So we like bootleg a lot of shit, and then man, when Blockbuster was still a thing, bro, Blockbuster was a big part of my childhood because I used to live in Philly and there used to be a Blockbuster like right around the corner. And like, I remember there would be like specific like kid shit that me and my sister would fuck with. And my mom would just like rent the movie out for that week. Next week we would go and then just kind of re-up. And then same thing because like we didn't grow up on cable or nothing. So these DVDs were like everything to us. So we would like take turns and shit. My sister, like, all right, this 2 hours I'm watching my movie, the next 2 hours you watching your movie type shit. And then we would just kind of keep cycling through that. You know what I mean? So movies was definitely a big part of my childhood, I would say.
That's beautiful. So I don't want to like there's a lot I want to touch on there. First and foremost, rest in peace to Blockbuster. Very,
Yeah,
very,
man.
very like millennial fucking like early Gen Z type shit. The
Literally.
Blockbuster near my crib. It was right next to a Subway. So every time you would go in, the whole place just smelled like fucking Italian bread. So like I would just like go into Blockbuster just because it smelled great. And like but you know like but you know like even just forgetting all that, just like you know like who could forget the experience of like going in and like renting like a VHS or a DVD, or like picking up a
Literally,
game for
bro.
the weekend. Like like I can't tell you how many games I picked up and just like tried to run through as quickly as I could, and then it was like, oh man, I gotta go take it back on Monday, Tuesday, like
Literally,
bro.
bro. It was something about it, bro. It was really special, and I think it definitely just added to the human experience. You know what I'm saying? Not to say that the digital age is taking it. Well, yeah, I do kind of feel like the digital age is taking away from shit, but there's a lot of benefits to it. But I don't know, man. It's something just about like just the physical analog shit that everybody used to have to go through. Like even with music, you had to go buy the CD or you had to go buy the
Mhm.
album type shit. You know what I'm saying? So that even franchises like Blockbuster, like just going out of business, is very sad, bro. Like especially to me, because it was like I said, that was a pivotal part, and I would still be doing that shit if Blockbuster was around the corner for me. I'd probably still be in Blockbuster, like renting out shit.
Word.
So
Word. There's a what's it called? There's a one of the Alamo draft houses in the city has a video store. There used to be this
mhm.
like really dope video spot in the city called Kim's. It was this like
Okay.
old vintage video store that had it like they had like VHS, DVDs, CDs from like all over the world, like
Like,
different regions. Because like if you grab DVDs from like the UK, for example, like they're like region locked, and like you can't like certain DVD players can't play certain DVDs depending on the region. There are
mm,
some that can play DVDs no matter the region, but like you could like go to a store like that and find like hella fucking like rare shit that you would never think existed. And they reopened a version of Kim's in the basement of this Draft House movie theater in, I think it's the one in Lower Manhattan. So like so like being able to have an experience like that and like go and like sift through stuff. Like I found this crazy documentary about this like DJ school that had
Interesting.
that had who was in it? A-Track was in it. I think Premier, or I don't think Premier was in it. Like a bunch of like regional, national, and international DJ champions and like and just like OGs, just like giving jewels about like what cutting is, what scratching is, like where it stands. It must have been from like the late '90s or maybe even the early 2000s. But the shit
Word.
was dope. It was like and like you could find that on YouTube, but it was like it felt different, like having to sift through the thing and pull it out
Exactly.
and rent it, and like it was a whole journey, and it made me
Yeah,
appreciate it that much more. So
for sure, bro. It's special because it's like you can hold it. It's tangible, and it's not like so easy to get. You know what I'm saying? It's not easy access. You know what I mean?
right. And speaking of things that are tangible and not easy to get, I want to talk about Third World Cop because this is a movie I've only heard of. I've never seen it, and it's
Mhm.
because it's so fucking hard to find. So like talk
Literally.
to me about like your relationship with Third World Cop and like and just like yeah, just talk to me about Third World Cop and how you feel about it. Like
Well, my pops was born in Jamaica, and he moved over to the
mm,
States when he was 7, I believe. And that was like a big part of like my family's culture for a while. You know what I'm saying? So like movies like Third
right,
World Cop kind of like it played two roles because it kind of like we got to like indulge in the culture. Like this is a movie that came from our people, but it also like showed us the harsh reality of like what's going on and like not only, you know what I'm saying, these third world countries, but like my pops' home country. You know what I'm saying? So it kind of like me as a kid, at least, I can't speak for nobody else in my family, but me as a kid, it kind of like just opened up my eyes to that shit. You know what I'm saying? And it kind of worked to like guide me in the right direction and like understand what I want to do, what I don't want to do. You know what I'm saying? And just like be aware of a lot of the stuff that's going on in the other countries. And like a lot of that shit is definitely relevant now with everything that's going on in the world, where us in the States, we're kind of just like, you know what I'm saying, not sitting comfortably, but there's a lot of people that are like turning a blind eye to it. Like seeing something like that as a kid that's going on in another country when I could just kind of like put my uniform on, go to school in the morning, do my homework and live a normal life when there's other shit going on overseas and shit like that. Like it kind of just like put that into perspective for me, you know? I wish I could remember
right.
like what happened in the movie, like what was the main plot. I definitely got to rewatch it. I would definitely recommend you watch it too because it's an amazing movie. But like, yeah, I kind of just want to like go back and like watch the movie and everything. So I'm gonna definitely do that.
Yeah, nah, me too. I'm a find it however I find it, and we can and yeah, like we definitely got to reconvene and talk about that shit. Because
For
like
sure.
even just like reading about it right now, because I found the Wikipedia page, it
Mm,
like like stuff like this reminds me of like I'm sure you ever seen City of God before?
I haven't.
Woo, go find City of God. That's one of the best movies I've ever seen. It's all it's all about like kids in Brazil. It's
Okay.
like one of the most like it's gorgeous. It's really sad. It's like pretty action packed. Like it's kind of like it's kind of like just like reading about Third World Cop. I think there's a lot of parallels between them two. And then on
Okay.
top of that, there's this other joint that's there's this other one that's more directly connected. I think it's called, or I don't think it's called Snow on the Bluff. You ever see Snow on the Bluff before?
I haven't. I've heard so many great things about that movie though, bro, and I have to watch it, but I've not
Snow
seen it.
on the Bluff. That shit is everything, bro. Yeah, no, I was talking to my homie Eric about this not too
Mm-hmm.
long ago. Snow on the Bluff is like that's also kind of like a like this is what's happening like down in the South. Like I think it's particularly like Atlanta and I think Florida. Like Snow on the
Okay.
Bluff is yeah, no, Snow on the Bluff is really intense and really fun. And once again, just like like if you're fucking with Third World Cop, like this is like I feel like Snow on the Bluff is the Southern United States' version of a thing like Third World Cop. Like that's like this is what's going on in that area right now, and just like really, and like the whole thing is raw. There's barely a script. It's just and I think most of the people in it aren't even actors. I think they're all just like actual people, and they just like
Interesting.
shot the movie type shit. It was really fucking cool. Good
Yeah, I
movie.
gotta. Okay, I definitely gotta watch that one. On to pivot up what you were saying though, like how it was actual people and like really what's going on. Like I one part of me really loves like the psychological narratives and the shit that really makes you think, and it'll like put you in a different realm of thinking and everything with creation. But like I'm a sucker for a good documentary, bro. Like I will sit and watch documentaries for hours about anything, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like whether it's people's lives, whether it's about animals or some shit, like I just love like kind of having like I feel like I have a peer into the lens, especially like on the animal shit. You know what I'm saying? Like if I watch National Geographic, it kind of like it'll put me in a place where I'm just kind of like I'm so amazed by like nature and like this earth and like it'll make me feel like damn, like it's just I don't know, bro. I don't know how to explain it. It's just like an amazement that like will always fill me. You know what I'm saying? And I really love watching like birds and shit because like their perspective is like living from the sky. You know what I'm saying? And I think that's like just crazy how that just happens. You know what I'm saying? And like I could just imagine like as a human, like damn, like stationary on the ground, like birds, they literally there's a whole different plane of life, no pun intended, from the air. You know what I'm saying? And like I don't know, bro. I just feel like mad amazing, and I geek out over like National Geographic shit all the time. I don't know if you can tell right now, but like not like life documentaries. Like what was the last documentary I watched that really was you seen The Last Dance that came out a couple years ago?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
The
that
Last
was
Dance is
crazy,
amazing.
bro. That was like it was amazing, and like something like that where it's like Jordan was never really my favorite player. I was always a Kobe person, but just like that perspective, that behind the scenes, like even with all that he's done for the sport of basketball, all that he's done for like me as a person who wanted to play basketball when I was a kid, like that kind of just like gave an entire like breath of new life into like his career, like him as a person, you know what I'm saying? Like it was crazy. So I just love like the art form of a documentary, especially one that's like executed the right way. And I feel like that was a documentary that was 100% executed the right way. You know what I mean?
Man. Yeah, there's really something special about like a documentary that can, like contextualize a person's life or an event
Mm-hmm.
and just like, like getting talking heads to talk about it and just like the whole, I don't know, like I love the structure of a documentary. I love watching interviews. I love
Right.
just like I just love being in that experience. I'm really trying to remember the last documentary I watched. I can't remember off top. I'm looking through my letterbox just to be sure. I can't remember off top, but there's one I really want to watch, and it's about you remember Movie Pass, the thing that happened like 3-4 years ago, like it was the service that was trying to like let people go to the movies for like a flat rate. You could see like a certain amount of movies, and like they gave you a
Ah,
card
word,
in the mail. Like
word. Yeah, yeah.
it it was so like Movie Pass was a thing that like everybody and their mother had for a while, or maybe not everybody and their mother, but it was like popular enough that like the news was writing about it, and eventually
Mm-hmm.
the whole company collapsed in on itself, and they made a documentary about it. And it's like been saved on my list for a good minute, and I just haven't had the time to sit down and watch it. But I might try to do that finally this weekend. But like stuff like that is just like really like niche specialty interesting stuff. Like that's like
Literally,
I'm
bro.
I'm 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 fully tapped in,
100%. You ever seen The Founder?
No, I don't know what that is.
It's some shit about McDonald's and like how I never knew this before watching the documentary, but like apparently like the idea was stolen. I think the brothers who actually created McDonald's, I
Oh,
think they
I
ended
know
up
what this is. I know what
yeah,
this is. Yeah,
they ended up Ray Kroc, that's the nigga name. That's McDonald's boy, is that the
yeah, I'm pretty
KFC?
sure.
Okay, so I'm gonna say Ray Kroc, but like basically the nigga came, colonized their whole shit, and I think they bought the company from him for like $1 million, bro. I think it was like 1 million, 2 million that he gave the brothers, and it's like wow to see what McDonald's came to from that point, and like how they probably could have never known. Mind you, 1 million, $2 million back in them times was probably everything. You know what I'm saying? But
Yeah,
I don't know. It was just kind of like it was weird, bro. It was weird, and it was just like it was kind of fucked up. Like obviously I felt for the brothers and everything, but it was just like I don't know, put me in a place where like were they ever gonna be able to execute that idea the way that he did and make McDonald's what it was? You know what I'm saying? So it's like it's a double-edged sword because like at the root of it, he definitely stole from them. You know what I'm saying? He definitely profited off of like their ideas, their intellectual property and shit like that. But it's just like McDonald's wouldn't be what it was if he didn't come into the equation. And so it was just kind of weird just saying that they only got paid out $1 million. Like McDonald's is probably like $1 billion, if not more, company today. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, but yeah,
Yeah,
that was
and
another
like,
documentary I watched a couple years ago that like left me with something.
I remember when that dropped, and I never got the chance to watch it. But I watched another documentary about you remember the wow, where's my brain going? Do you remember the Monopoly games that McDonald's used to have?
Mm-hmm.
So like somebody made a documentary about the Monopoly McDonald's game where you could like
Word.
where you'd get like fries or a drink and it would have like the sticker on it, and you take the sticker off and you get a prize. Like people like there was this whole network of people who would steal the big prizes, or they would like arrange the deliveries of the big prizes in order to make sure that they got the big prizes, and then they'd like sell the big prizes to people as
Right.
opposed to like playing the game normally. I forget what the documentary was called, but the whole thing is about how the McDonald's Monopoly game turned into this like big pyramid scheme. Yo, my fault. Sorry to interrupt, but I just wanted to shout out the all new Real Notes Patreon page real quick. If you're looking for ways to connect and directly support the podcast, the Real Notes Patreon is the best way to do so. For as little as $5 a month, you can gain early day before access to every forthcoming episode of Real Notes, as well as an invite to the Real Notes Discord server, where you can talk to others about the latest and greatest in movies and music, come through for some listening sessions, and talk about whatever else is on your mind. I know I'm going to be talking a bunch. If you feel like coming up off a little bit more, you could get cool exclusive content like audio from Real Notes Live and Real Talk interviews. Those will be exclusive to patrons and ticket holders moving forward. Access to retro versions of my 60-second Minute Maid movie reviews, and even a monthly writing and podcasting workshop hosted by me. Regular episodes will still be available on a weekly basis anywhere you get your podcasts, but if you want the extras, you gotta come out them pockets a bit. Check us out at patreon.com/realnotes. That's REELNOTES. I appreciate your consideration and support more than you know. Now let's get back to talking. A bunch of people got arrested over it. It was really fucking cool. You know, I was a little too young to like do the. Actually, no, I think I might have done a couple of the Monopoly game things myself, but like, it was just cool to kind of look back on it and see the whole situation explained out. Like,
Right.
once again, like that's my whole wave. I love that stuff.
Hell yeah, bro. I gotta see that because I never seen that one.
Yeah, I'm mad. I can't remember what it was called, but it'll come to me, and I'll tell you about it later.
For sure.
But as you get older and you start to develop your tastes a little bit more and just have more life experiences, so I like to think of this as like a capital M movie. Like, what was the first movie you saw that really connected with you in like a emotional or artistic or spiritual way, like something that really stopped you in your tracks, that wasn't just like 90 minutes of entertainment type shit?
Probably man, I haven't watched movies in so long, so it would definitely be a childhood joint. But probably Karina, Whoopi Goldberg, Ray Liotta.
Wow.
That was a great movie to me as a child, and just like everything that had happened, you know what I'm saying, like her mother passing, and then Molly, I think her name was, just trying to like cope with that, and kind of just like, I don't know, get adjusted to this this new life and everything, and I don't know, like it translated as really traumatic for me as a child because I could only imagine how she felt, you know what I'm saying? And I know that she had a lot of love for Karina, at least that's how I remember it. But just like her kind of getting adjusted, and then like her father, like, you know what I'm saying, sleeping around with her and everything. As a child, that shit was probably like, you know what I'm saying, wow, like you don't know what's going on, but it's just like probably a string of emotions that you're dealing with, you know? So yeah, man, from what I remember, that was probably the first movie that was just like, yo, this is beautiful. You know what I'm saying? And like you said, you worded that really good because I wasn't just entertained by the movie. You know what I'm saying? It was something that, and I didn't really like necessarily learn from it, or like it didn't change my life or nothing like that. But just like as a child, it just kind of put me in a vulnerable place, and I kind of like felt what the little girl was feeling, you know?
Okay, so now I gotta know, how old were you when you saw that? Because that's not something that I'd be watching as like a kid, but maybe I
Mm-hmm.
would. But anyway, like, yeah, it's like, how old were you? Like, do you remember when you first saw it? Like any
Nah, bro.
okay.
Maybe like this was probably in that blockbuster era, so probably like I would say anywhere between 2005 to 2009. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? But I like as a kid, I was watching shit like Blow and Third World Cop. You know what I'm saying? So I feel like children shouldn't
Right.
really be exposed to shit like that. But yeah, and I don't even want to say that was my people's fault and everything, because like a lot of the times it was like, yeah, I wanted to watch the movie, so I would find a way to, you know what I'm saying, watch the
Yeah.
movie, and then eventually it was just like, all right, whatever, you know what I'm saying, he's seen it. But yeah, I feel like a lot of the movies, especially that I mentioned that I grew up on, were probably like, you know what I'm saying, not really for children's eyes or nothing like that, which I do feel like was pivotal in them kind of like opening up my perspective to a lot of shit, you know what I'm saying, especially like a Third World Cop. But yeah.
Yeah, that's just how kids are. Like if they want to watch it, they're gonna find a way to do it unless you like lock them in a room, and you shouldn't be locking your kids in a room. But
Literally, and then, even then, I feel
like
like locking them in a room would make it worse and make it like they would want
right.
to see the movie even more, and they would probably be in the room plotting on the way to see the movie type shit.
Yeah, nah, especially now, like how easy it is to just get on the internet and just like find a movie. Like I don't know, but
Yeah, man.
but yeah, so I don't know. So once again, I've never seen Corinna, but like I
Hmm.
obviously know what it is. Like it's a classic, very well revered. I just never got the chance to get around to it. Or like
Right.
like I never had a copy around. Like I wasn't able to find it at a store. It wasn't like on my mind, but I've heard people talk
Hmm.
about it, and I love Whoopi Goldberg and Ray Liotta. So
Yeah.
it seems like the
R.I.P.
type of thing yeah,
Hmm.
god damn. Like even
That was
I
heavy,
don't know if you
bro.
saw I don't know if you saw Cocaine Bear, but that was the last thing he made before he died.
Nah, I gotta watch that. He's a
So
legend, man.
it's yeah, for real. He's like he's not like the biggest part of it, but the whole it's all right there in the title. It's a movie it's loosely based on the story of a bear that got a hold of some cocaine and like did the
Oh, I
cocaine.
heard of that. I heard of that, bro. I wanted to see that shit so bad, bro, because I remember seeing ads for it on YouTube, and I was just like, yo, that sounds like a crazy concept. Because another movie that I fucked with when I was a kid, damn, that just opened up a whole nother pocket. You ever heard of Cujo?
Oh, of course I heard of Cujo with with the monster dog. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, with the
Classic.
fucking rabid dog and shit like that. When I saw the ads for Cocaine Bear, I was like, yo, that's like, I really fucked with Cujo as a kid, because it was like a horror movie, but it was like real life. Like imagine being in that scenario. Like I can't imagine being in front of a bear, not only just a bear, but a bear that's like strung out on fucking cocaine. So I was like, yo, I really want to see that movie. I didn't know that Ray Liotta was in that though. So yeah, I gotta peep that.
Yeah, he's not in none of the trailers, but he's the guy who owns the drugs that the bear winds up taking, and like in the so like in the real life story, the bear takes the cocaine and dies almost immediately. Like that's like
Mm-hmm.
they just decided to run with the idea that like the bear is high on cocaine, and and you're like it's it's like as silly as you'd expect that type of thing to be. It's kind of like Jaws in the sense that it's like there's about three different stories going on, and every single
Mm-hmm.
one of those stories just involves this bear that happens to be on cocaine. It's one of those. And I guess it's also kind of like Cujo in that way, because I feel like there's also a couple stories going on in that movie, and then like the main story is like, oh, this like dog is evil. This dog is possessed. This
Right.
dog wants to like kill every like once. But man, like Cujo, and that's also a Stephen. It's also based on a Stephen King book, which I've never read, but I just know that they turn like Stephen King's had like at least 2 dozen books turned into movies. I don't know how he does it, but yeah, Cujo's great. Cujo's a
Yeah,
classic.
great movie.
Damn. So let's do that with music now. When did music become capital M music for you? Like when did it like when did it go from being passive in your life to a thing? Like not even in terms of you wanting to make it, but just in
Mm-hmm.
terms of you like fucking with music and being fascinated by music.
It was a lot of music, bro. Like a lot of music that I was like being put in front of, or that was being put in front of me when I was a kid. You know what I'm saying? So like my mom, she really fucked with like techno and like EDM and shit like that, like house music and stuff. And then
Yeah.
my pops, he was like straight reggae, you know what I'm saying? So it was a lot of like Jack Cure, a lot of the Wailers, Barrington Levy, I-Octane, people like that. And then like when I was growing up, like the shit that was on the radio, and I was in Philly, so this was Power 99. It was like this was when like 2 Chainz was hot, and like
Yeah.
YMCMB was like just not just coming up, but like the Drakes and the Nickies and the Tigers were just being introduced onto the scene and everything. And I
Right.
was having
Yeah.
that from the radio. But then like the little breaks where my mom and dad would like need that rap fix, like my pops would play shit like the Jay-Z's and the Nas's and the Beanie Siegels, and then my mom was playing Three Stacks and Kanye and fucking 50 Cent, you know what I'm saying? So it was, whether it was rap or any other genre, like it was, I feel like it was so diversified when it was being put in front of me, you know what I'm saying? So I had a lot of like reference points, like not with rap only, because as you saw, it was like a very diverse list, but like a lot of other shit that they
Yeah.
were
Yeah.
listening
Yeah.
to.
Yeah, like that's the you know like that's the amazing thing about growing up with parents who are super into music, which is
Mm-hmm.
weird because like I don't know, I'm like obviously not everybody's super into music, but
Right,
I don't know many people who don't not like music. Like everybody at least has like a favorite song or like a favorite artist. Like even if they're not, like hungry to hear every single thing, like
right,
there's gonna be at least like one or two things like, oh, I don't know, just picking out names like Bob Marley, or oh, I love
right,
Jay-Z, or I love, like Aretha Franklin or Corinne Bailey
right,
Rae or whoever. Like, like it's even better when it's even better when you grow up with like parents who just you could tell that they have their own tastes and they're not afraid to explore and just have like a really deep history. And like just like like you having that parallel between like everything with your everything your pops had, just
right.
like with all the reggae shit, and like your mom, like I don't know, like that's super dope to me.
Yeah,
I
it
think
was great.
I think that's great. Like what was so like I don't know that I've ever asked this question before. So like considering that you had the two of them kind
Mm-hmm.
of filtering all this stuff in for you, like what was the stuff that you started becoming more attracted to? Like when did you notice that you were starting to develop your own taste more as opposed to like leaning toward what your pops or your mom was listening to?
Probably when I got to like middle school, high school, you know what I'm saying? Like around the time when I did, like Drake was definitely my first favorite rapper, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because he was running shit back then, and then Wayne. Then I had a Wayne phase, and Wayne is like my favorite rapper to this day. But
Yeah.
then I had a Wayne phase, and then I remember middle school like finding like J. Cole and shit like that. Like that's what I gravitated to in middle school, you know what I'm saying? And then I feel like it was a lot of scattered shit, and I didn't really like find my taste until like later on in high school, you know what I'm saying? Like when I really started doing the deep dives on like the Kanye's and like the Pro Era. I was huge on Pro Era in high school.
Yeah.
RIP Steez, Kendrick, bro. Like, oh my god, like the first time listening to like all that shit, bro, like Good Kid, Mad City, to like I would kill to like just listen to that shit again for the first time. I was a junior listening to Pimp a Butterfly. I remember that because like I'd heard of the album, I heard the hits and everything, but when I sat down
Yeah.
and I was like, yo, it's time to really like, I just want to dive in and understand this album. And I was just like, wow, you know what I'm saying? Like genuinely wow. And then getting out of high school, I feel like my taste evolved even more. You know what I'm saying? Like that's when I got into like the internets of the world. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to Steve Lacy. I
uh,
got more into Tyler and shit like that, and then getting into Tyler kind of like took me down the rabbit hole of like the Rex Orange counties and shit like that. You know what I'm saying? So
Makes sense.
it was a lot. I feel like my taste is still very developing even to this day. But like now I'm like I listen to so much shit that it's like I can't name my favorite song on a day-to-day or week-to-week basis. You know what I'm saying? Like I can't
Yeah.
remember all the albums that I listened to last year because I'm like a sponge when it comes to music in my day-to-day now. And I feel like I was very like specific in middle school and high school. You know what I'm saying? Like I had my shit that I like. Like I was definitely like I was on some like real hip hop shit, especially. So like when I was a freshman, like that's when the 2016 Double XL cover came out, and I remember I was like, "Yo, this shit is trash. Like I don't want to hear none of this. Like they fucking the game up and like all this other shit." And I just really didn't understand it until like later. Like it took like to the end of high school to me for me to really understand like a Uzi or a Cardi. You know what I'm saying? So even like
Yeah.
back then, like I was saying, when I was younger, my taste was really, really specific. You know what I'm saying? So I kind of like shut out shit that I didn't really fuck with or that I didn't think that I would fuck with. Whereas now it's like I think I'm gonna fuck with everything. So I'm gonna listen to everything, you know what I'm saying? And I love collecting
Yeah,
music.
bro.
I love hearing like music from other countries and shit like that, just seeing what they're on, you know what I'm saying? So it's like, yeah, when it comes to music now, I'm definitely like I soak in as much as I can, you know?
That's everything, bro. So okay, I'm so happy you said that because I had almost the exact same experience, like going from
Where
like middle school to high school. So like, well, first off, how old are you?
I'm 22.
You're 20. Oh, you're 22. I'm
Yeah, yeah.
32. So yeah,
Word.
I was in high school in like the mid to late 2000s, and like I had just come
Okay.
out of middle school in '06. So like, so like growing up around then, I was like huge, like I was huge into snap music. I was huge
Mm-hmm.
into Lil Jon and the East Side Boys, and fucking
Word.
like yeah, like at the time, I think my favorite song, like my favorite two rap songs of that era to this day are still the Clips is Mr. Me Too and
Oh,
Rich Boys Throw Some D's. Like being in a middle school when them two songs came out was just like,
mm-hmm.
so like that was, so like I was like, this is around the time when I was like easing myself into like, I mean, like I was also like really into Dipset at that time. I was
Okay,
really
word.
into, just like everything that was on the radio was kind of just
Mm-hmm.
like pouring into me. Like everything from like Jeezy to Dipset to fucking, I'm a big R&B head. So like I was really into like
Word.
A. Marie, and Mariah Carey just put out her comeback album. So like, like I'm kind of
Word.
taking all this stuff, and then I discovered Doom. I discovered Mad Villainy through the
Yeah.
Boondocks because they played songs, and then like that cracked my brain open. I was like, oh
Mm-hmm.
shit, who's this? I want to know everything about this motherfucker. Like, like all I
Word.
wanted to hear that type of music. And I went and found like a Tribe Called Quest, got super into Tribe. I got
Mm-hmm.
super into like just like all like the early old school leaning 90s shit. Like of course I was a huge Kanye kid like
Word.
at that time. Big Lupe Fiasco kid.
Shout out to
At
Lupe.
that time. Yeah, man, Food and Liquor is one of my favorite albums of all time. Like that's like
Classic.
that up there. So like all of this is so like I had see like I was listening to everything, and then I got
Mm-hmm.
like super ultra conservative. Like I remember like that was around the time when Wayne was really starting to peak with like the Carters, like
Word.
I think it was like I think that was like Carter 3 era when I was in high
Oh,
school.
man.
So
Mm-hmm.
like like I was the kid who was hating on Wayne because oh, real hip hop ruining that, like
Word.
I don't know what the fuck I was on. I was on some other shit because that was around
Literally,
the
bro.
time that Unk had put out Walk It Out, and
Mm-hmm.
Andre was on the remix for Walk It Out, and like
Mm-hmm.
it was like that type of situation where I was like, oh, I'll listen to it because Andre's. I was a fucking dumbass. I don't know what I was on, but
Literally, bro. That's exactly how I feel.
like
That's
like
exactly how I feel.
eventually I came full circle and stopped being I stopped being an old head in a 17-year-old's body, and I
Literally,
just and then and then you just let the world happen to you, and like that, and like when I was in college, that was like the era where, like you said, like YMCMB is starting to come up.
mm-hmm.
Like the Migos jumped off, like Versace and Hannah Montana and all that stuff happened. Like Young
Right.
Rich Niggas had happened at that point. Like
Yeah.
Travis was just starting to pop off. The mob was just ASAP mob was just starting to pop off. Pro Era
Mm-hmm.
was just starting to pop off. I was I was in like I bought, I don't know if you remember this, but when To Pimp a Butterfly first came out, they put it in the iTunes store early for some reason. And then they like, I think they put it out there like 2 or 3 days early for like, there was like a leak or something. So I bought it, and I was just listening to that album like 2 to 3 days before everybody else did. Like I was working like one of my
Mm-hmm.
first jobs at the time, and just like I was just
Uh-huh.
locked in on To Pimp a Butterfly, and it was like, like it really felt like I had like robbed. It felt like I had like taken something out the bank, and just like gotten like this like bank robbery off, and was just like, that was a really like that album is special to me because I got it so early on some like, oh shit, somebody fucked up at Apple, let me take this, and
Right.
and like and of course like my whole, like from the time I was in college on, like my whole everything expanded. Like I'm grateful because I'm 32 and I feel way more open-minded than I was when I was 16, 17 years old. And a
Right.
lot of people can't say that. and you know, like you're 22 and you're at this point where you're kind of like, just don't lose that, because it's so easy to fall into your little corner and get jaded and be like, oh, what's this other stuff encroaching on this shit? I like
Right.
hold that off as long as you possibly can. Like stay hungry, stay interested. I'm
100%.
I'm giving too much advice. It like, yeah, like that just hit me, because yeah, it sounds like you and I had pretty much the exact same experience. So I feel
For
you.
sure, bro. And I feel like it's even a lot of stuff that like I listen to like every day now that I didn't really like see the light in before. I didn't really understand it first. You know what I'm saying? Like you mentioned Doom. Doom's definitely one of my favorite rappers. I didn't understand Doom at first. I didn't understand Odd Future at first at all. You know what I'm saying? Like you mentioned Dipset. I didn't fuck with Dipset in high school because I was such a big, and this is crazy. I didn't fuck with Dipset in high school because I was such a big G Unit fan, and I was like, nah, like this is the best rap clique. Like I don't want to fuck with no other rap clique.
I get it. I
You
get
know what I'm
it.
saying? And like now it's just like, I don't know. You know what I'm saying? I realized that as simple as it is, but G Unit and Dipset were immensely great at the same time, and that's okay. That's possible. You know what I'm saying? So that's how I look at
Yeah,
everything
man.
now. You know what I'm saying? Like there's room for everything to be great because everything is perspective. You know what I'm saying? And everything is like, what do you bring to the table? You know what I'm saying? Like when it comes to rappers and shit like that, like if y'all having a dinner, like you don't want everybody to bring one thing. You need everybody to bring something different to the table. You know what I'm saying? Like maybe you fuck with his beat selection and the pockets
Right.
that he catches, or maybe you fuck with how this nigga talks about life and he tries to kick advice, and maybe you just fuck with how this nigga has an eccentric voice. You know what I'm saying? Like rap as a genre is so diverse, and like I didn't see that at first. I just had my shit that I was kind of like in my corner, like you said, and now it's just like, yo, like everybody could be great. You know what I'm saying? Well, nah, if your shit trash, your shit is trash. But like
Right.
everybody
Yeah.
can be, you know what I'm
Easy.
saying? Like if you're great, you don't have to, there's no standard for that greatness. I feel like, you know what I'm saying? You just got to put everything into your art, and I feel like the people will see that. You know what I'm saying? But you don't got to necessarily sound like the next man, or you know what I'm saying? And even that like real hip hop umbrella, bro. Like there's a lot of shit that I consider real hip hop right now that I would not consider real hip hop in high school, which is crazy to me. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah. So much, son. Like it's
Yeah.
like, you know, like even just like I don't know if you're hip, but I've been listening to a lot of SME Tax Free this week, because like he just put out a tape like 2 months ago. He's a dude out of
Word.
Milwaukee. He's extra fucking dope. I love his shit. And like when I was 17, like, not that I would like scoff at that, but I would just like, I wouldn't consider that. I don't even think about it in terms of like real hip hop or whatever. And like I just don't, I don't subscribe to that anymore. Like
Right.
there's treasure everywhere. Like I can love,
Literally.
like I can love somebody like a Lupe, and love somebody like a Certified Trapper, or like a
Literally,
SME
bro.
Tax Free, or like somebody like Tia Corinne, or somebody like I don't even know, like just because he came to my mind, like Remble, like all these
Word.
people, like this is all like, like they're all operating at elite levels right now. And
Right.
I don't feel the need to. I don't know. Like, there's just like I just want to consume as much as I can. Like I'm not at the point where I'm like afraid that the stuff that I grew up on isn't cool anymore or whatever. Like I just like,
Right.
what's next? Like I wanna like engage with, and I want to engage honestly, because like you said, if it's trash, it's trash. It's not like you
Literally.
gotta like everything, obviously, but it's just
Facts.
like it just feels good to still be curious about this shit, because it's
Mm-hmm.
so easy to just fall into your little pocket, and then like 20 years go by and you're the same person at 48 that you were at 28, and you
Right.
don't
That's my worst
necessarily
fear,
want
bro.
that.
Literally.
And then, you just reminded me that, yeah, I mean, like, also big G Unit fan. Like, I
Mm-hmm.
know the game, and 50 Cent's Hate It or Love It. Like, I could do the whole song right now. That was
Word.
like a favorite song of mine coming up too. And like, like up until I had my like real hip hop phase, I was like, it was like G Unit and Dipset and fucking,
Mm-hmm.
like, I was really big into E40 at the time. My Ghetto Report Card was
Mm-hmm.
one of my favorite albums of all time. I love my Ghetto Report Card. Like
Mm-hmm.
fucking, like when Tell Me When to Go came out, like that song was everywhere. Like like I had friends who were ghost riding the whip and everything. Like
Word.
it was that was, I don't know. Like I was just so I was just so enamored with everything I was hearing, and then I just had that moment where it was like, nope, just like I want my music to be extra dusty all the time, nothing else. And you know, I think I got that I got that shit out of my system fast, but it was
Literally, bro.
definitely like I definitely had a phase, son. So I feel you 100%.
For everybody that's listening to this, please never go through wanting your music extra dusty because I'm a victim of that. And it's cool while you're there. It's cool while you're there, but like it's a lane for that, and not everything has to be extra dusty all the time.
Yeah. Yeah, no, like give him a couple, give him a couple, give him a few things that are a little dusty, but it doesn't have to be.
Yeah,
You don't got to be 6 feet deep all the time, you know, like
literally. You know what I'm saying? Like I can't imagine as much respect and as high of a standard I hold these cats to. Like I can't imagine like only listening to Griselda. You know what I'm saying? But that's the type of shit that I be on in high school. Like
right,
strictly that type of shit. Like if I knew who Griselda was when I first entered high school, I promise you I would have listened to nothing else. I would have only listened to Griselda cats.
yeah,
I swear to
yeah.
God.
Yeah, bro. Yeah, no, like I could imagine. Like I remember when Fly God first came out, and I was like, this album would have been my whole personality if I was still like
Literally,
15. Like, like
literally,
I
bro.
was that was that. Yeah, Fly God was a pivotal moment for me. But
Hmm.
man, I'm so happy we had this conversation right now because now I want to know, like, you know, you're in high school, you go through all of this shit, and you kind of, you know, like you leave high school and your brain and your taste starts to expand a bit more and you're less
Right.
conservative, just moving through shit. When did you first know that music was going to become more than just a hobby for you?
Probably when I was 13, like when me and my homies was out on the porch with we used to have GarageBand on the iPod, and this is before we even like as advanced because it was a point where we would have gaming headphones. We would record into GarageBand on the iPod, and I would take that out of the iPod and put it into this free software on my grandma's computer, and I called myself mixing it and everything. And then like we was just like, oh yeah, we about to be on. Like, but even before then, it was like one of my homies would have the beat playing off their phone, somebody else would have a voice memo, and we would just be like ciphering. Like that's when I kind of knew. I was like, yo, like, would we really be doing all of this if like this is not something that we really want to do, or that we see ourselves in it? That I felt because all those homies who I'm still very close with, like they've ended up taking different life paths and everything. But for me specifically, because I was making music like writing before that moment, but like that was the moment for me where it was just like, yeah, I definitely see myself doing this for life. Like if we're going through these leaps and bounds just to make something that we can listen back to and say like we're the illest motherfuckers in the world, like this is gonna go somewhere, you know what I'm saying? So that's like that was the pivotal moment for me. And then when I started releasing music at like 14 years old, and then I think my first project was like 15 or 16. Like once I put together a project, put that shit on SoundCloud, that was like, oh yeah, this is it for me. And then when I got my first song on all platforms, I think the end of 2018, I was like, all right, this is something that like I can do this. I just gotta like figure out how I want to do it. You know what I'm saying? But I would say 13
Yeah,
years old. That's when I knew.
that's hard, you know, like because I mean, like everybody has that dream of like, I want to be a rapper, I want to be in media, I want to be a
Hmm.
director, actor, whatever the fuck. But like to actually go about it and make it happen as a 13, 14, 15, 16-year old, and then, you
Hmm.
know, like being, you know, like being in that position where you're like putting music up on platforms and like making the SoundCloud, like, you know, so like
Exactly.
yeah, so I mean, like the earliest shit of yours I was able to find on your SoundCloud was when you went by a different name that I know I'm a fuck up pronouncing right now. Is it Yaji? Yeji? Which one is it?
Yaji, it's Yaji. I'm surprised you found that shit though. I thought,
I got it right. Damn.
but you
Shit.
definitely got it right. It was Yaji.
Shit. Okay. So the only reason that made me like, I don't know why, like I just had some, anyway, like
Hmm.
like there have been 3 instances where I've talked to people and I fucked their names up. So
Hmm.
I'm just happy. I'm just happy I got that right the first time. Like
You're good, bro.
shout out to Guan, shout out to Flower Shark, shout out to everybody whose name that I fucked up in a public place. I'm just so sorry. I love y'all. So you know, you started releasing music around 2018 under the name Yaji.
Hmm.
Talk to me about well, first off, where did the name Yaji come from?
It
And
was
you know, like yeah, no.
I was so iCarly. It was just IJ, but like backwards with like an extra I
Mm.
and like two A's and everything. It was very it was damn, I was probably like 9, 10 when I made that name, and like I was just like, yo, like this is cool as hell. And I just stuck with it for a couple years and everything until I like grew out of it. Yeah, I definitely feel like I grew out the name. I didn't really like dislike it. I was just like, this doesn't really represent me no more. And it was just like me as the person who made the name. It was like I could tell that I made this name when I was 9 years old, you know? Yeah.
So okay. So okay, so like were you fucking with iCarly like that? Like that was the vibe at the time?
I mean, I did fuck with not I don't want to say that it meant anything towards the name besides like the orientation, but I definitely did fuck with iCarly. I thought iCarly was really cool.
Okay. Yeah, no, I'm just I was just so curious because that's such a specific thing to go off of. But
Where
like I'll listen, like I went back and listened to stuff like Late Nights and like
mm,
Demons and like even stuff
yeah,
like C4, like like all this stuff sounds so different from the shit you're making now. And
hmm
I guess like I'm like you said that you outgrew the name and kind of
hmm
moved on and like what do you feel is the biggest difference between the Yaji stuff and the Wiseboy Jeremy stuff if you had to pick a thing that feels different about the both of them?
I'm much more intentional now, like with everything, with my writing, with how I like craft
Yeah.
my projects, with like what elements of my life I put into the music and everything. Like I was, as you could probably hear from them songs, like I was definitely still like putting everything into them. You know what I'm saying? And back then it
Yeah,
was
of course.
probably much more emotional than it is now. But like I just kind of like, I don't know, like I knew how I felt and I could only translate that through the raps. You know what I'm saying? So like obviously I'll pick a beat, I like the beat, but I could only translate how I felt through the raps. Whereas now it's like, yo, like I need a certain type of beat to say what I want to say right now, or I want to say this, but like this beat is not the proper canvas for that. Let me get another beat, or let me, you know what I'm saying, keep going, keep writing, keep trying to find how I can just make a song. You know what I'm saying? Like that's the ultimate goal now when I write. Whereas back then it was just like I just gotta have a crazy verse. Obviously I want to put a hook on the song. Like everything was more structured and more like scientific, for lack of a better term, back then. And I was real like specific with everything, you know what I'm saying? Like this is back when I was doing everything myself. So I was making the cover art, I was engineering the songs and everything. And like that project was when I got a better grasp of like mixing and engineering and shit like that. Like I recorded that after I got like my first USB mic and shit like that. And I made a couple of the beats on that project and everything too. So I was definitely like more into it. Artistically, like I was all into it. And now like I kind of felt more into like the rapping and doing that, like picking that one part of the craft that I want to like really hone in on, that caused everything else around me to grow. You know what I'm saying? Like that caused me to be more articulate with my beat selection because it's like, all right, I'm not making the beats, you know what I'm saying? And I feel like I want to focus on the rapping. There's somebody better that could like make the beats than let me, you know what I'm saying, team up with the people where we have a vision to like the song that we want to make or like the music or like the sound that we want to convey. You know what I'm saying? Instead of like me trying to like what's the word I'm looking for? Me trying to like produce that output myself. You know what I'm saying? I get to focus on this one element of the process and in turn like everything else comes smoother. You know what I'm saying? Because my brain is like not everywhere in all these different places. It's just kind of like, all right, let me just focus on making the song. Let me focus on writing the verse and then I'll let everything else kind of come together on its song.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
And like I feel like that got even more intentional and intense, just like as the process went on, because
Right.
even before you changed your name to Wiseboy Jeremy, you were just out here just like under your government. You were just going by Jeremy O
Yes,
for
sir.
like quite a while. And like like you put out a bunch of music. You put out a bunch of music under the name Jeremy O.
Mm-hmm.
Looks like looks like at least one project and just like a bunch of songs.
Right.
And then and then and then eventually you decide you want to go. Where did the name Wiseboy Jeremy come from?
Man, so all right, so this is a story right here because the name Jeremy O was very temporary and it was literally like a catalyst because like when I think about the name Jeremy O, I really only had it for 1 year. and I probably dropped the most music under Jeremy O because that was like, I don't want to say my experimental phase, but that's when like I was like, all right, I got to do it. So I was like, I'm dropping the name Yaji. I couldn't. I wanted to go by the whole the real name no gimmick shit because I heard it on this one Eminem song.
Yeah, the Obi Price real name, no gimmicks. Yeah.
I was a huge Eminem fan in high school too, but I was just like, yeah, let me just go by the real name, no gimmick shit. You know what I'm saying? And then I did that, and this is the end of 2019, and then 2020 comes, and this is also when I wanted to do this plan where I wanted to drop a song like every 2 weeks, and that didn't end up happening. I think I probably did that for like the first the first like month or so, the first month and a half, and then I kind of realized, all right, maybe I don't want to do that if I see myself rushing my output and just trying to get a song out every 2 weeks because I have music that I was sitting on, but like not everything was perfect. And I literally like I think the second go round, like I found myself the Monday of that Friday week cycle, like, yo, all right, let me make a song for Friday. And I was like, that's really not what I want to do. You know what I'm saying? I want to be much more, like we said, intentional with it. And I continued dropping music. I focused in and I locked in and I made a project called Sylvia's Anecdote, which was a very, very special project to me at the time. And it still is a special project to me to this day. And I locked in, I made that project. I think that was April of the year. And then I just kind of kept dropping songs, kept dropping singles. And as I'm putting music out, I felt myself like learning, like, okay, I like playing with this cadence, or I like rapping over these type of beats, or this is the shit I want to rap about now. You know what I'm saying? Whereas before it was just like, yo, I'm rapping, I just want to make a good verse, like I'm saying, or like I only had like emotional shit to rap about, like it was kind of like diary entries and shit like that. When it came to 2020, and this was also COVID and shit like that, so I was just really locked in,
Right.
as everybody's story probably goes in 2024. But what was I saying? Yeah, I locked in on the project, and like as I was releasing the songs, like me and also everybody around me could see like, yo, like your shit is starting to like sound a little more official. You know what I'm saying? You sound more confident, you sound more ready, you sound more intentional on your shit. I put out this song called Yellow Moon in 2020, and like that was like, all right, I kind of like, this is my sound, or I thought at the time. I was like, all right, I've done all these childish situations all these years up to this point, because if I'm 13 and I'm what 17, 18 at this point, yeah, this is like 5 years I'm putting out music and everything. I'm like, all right, I finally got a sound. And I kind of like ran with that. I put out 2 projects that year in 2020. And then like it was it came to me thinking about different shit than the music, and it was really like being marketable. And that's why I was like, I don't think Jeremy O is the most marketable name, if I'm being honest. You know what I'm saying? And that was like, I need a change. I need to change my name. I want to change my name if I really want to take this seriously. Because like I said, at this point, I don't had the output. At this point, I had a different microphone that I used. I recorded everything on it, including Pumpkin Seeds, and all of my new shit will not be on it. Well, I have a lot of music I'm sitting on. I'm probably gonna release, but I just got a new mic because my mic just like it got damaged. I don't know how it did. It just stopped working like a couple months ago. But this is all the shit I'm recording on this microphone, and I'm like, all right, I got this. I got this. I feel like I have a sound now. I need to change my name. And bro, like I swear to God, once I change my name, and I'm gonna get back to where it came from. But once I changed my name, that's when I feel like I really comfortably fell into like a sound. And I also realized that my sound is gonna change and evolve through projects. So I don't really need to be locked into a sound. And that's when I made my Still Children project. When I changed my name to Wiseboy Jeremy, like I think it was that no, I'm lying. I'm lying. I'm lying. It's super bad. My whole year timeline is fucked up. I was dropping under Wiseboy Jeremy for a year before I made Still Children. But the singles that I was dropping under Wiseboy Jeremy, everything was like more upfront. So I wasn't just dropping, like every song that I dropped had to have a video with it. This was more when I learned about what a rollout was. I was trying to roll out my singles more as opposed to just dropping them. And I was real like specific with the songs that I was dropping. I was like, all right, I'm gonna um try to drop something kind of different each time just to like test the waters. And this is when I was where we at 2022. I'm Wiseboy Jeremy now. This is when I was kind of like cultivating a local fan base and everything. You know what I'm saying? So like I kind of kept that in mind. Just like I want to make sure that, you know what I'm saying, I'm putting out shit that people want to hear. And through this whole process of me putting out shit people want to hear, I was working on this album called Carefully Anna that I ended up scrapping. And when I scrapped that album and said, you know what, fuck what people want to hear, I actually don't care about that. That's when I started writing Still Children. And through then, I feel like I fell comfortably into a sound. And then When I realized that I probably wasn't gonna carry that sound with me was right after Still Children came out. I kind of like was just molding with everything else. I didn't really want to rap on the beats I was rapping on Still Children, if that made sense. And that's when I knew, because I was like, all right, this is not really fun for me no more. Let me do something else. You know what I'm saying? But back to where Wiseboy Jeremy came from. My full name is Jeremiah, and people call me Jay. Jeremy was just me shortening my name. Nobody ever actually called me Jeremy, but people would listen to my raps and they would be like, "Yo, like this shit sounds so wise, bro. Like it sounds like you're kicking wisdom, like you're kicking knowledge to people. Like I listen to your songs and I want to do better. I want to do right. You know what I'm saying? Like crazy specific shit. Like yo, your song made me like stop cheating and like lock in with my girl." And I was like, I don't even know how I did that. I didn't even talk about relationships in the song or nothing like that. But I kind of just ran with that. And I was like, well, all right, cool. If that's what people get when they listen to my shit, then like, you know what I'm saying? And then my homie was just like, yo, like you sound like a prophet, bro. Like Wiseboy the prophet. And like that just stuck with me. And I was like, damn. And I was just like, all right, cool. Wiseboy Jeremy. And then just ran with it. And it just stuck. You know what I'm saying? And it made sense. It made sense to me. I felt like it was true to me, you know what I'm saying, at the same time. And like, yeah, it was just right. You know what I'm saying? The name change, me wanting to change my name, everything came at the right time. You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
Yeah, wow. There's there's a lot to chew on there, but the thing that really got me is you not wanting to be trapped in, like you not wanting to be trapped too much by any one particular sound, especially when it
Mm-hmm.
comes to Still Children, which is crazy because I mean like that's a really cool project first and foremost.
Thank
And
you, bro.
it's like yeah, no doubt. Like it's interesting to hear you kind of look back on it, because like one of the questions I had written down was, like looking, like I was going to ask you about how it feels to look back on that about 2 years after, or
Mm-hmm.
like I mean like bordering on 3 years after you
Yeah.
released it, because it was April of 2022. But
Yes, sir.
I mean like I want to focus a little bit more on the idea of like you rapping over, like I mean like I know you're not trying to say that you weren't rapping over things, or that you were rapping over things you didn't like, but
Right.
I'm interested in the notion that you already knew that you were never going to do this again while you were doing it. Like
It
what
was
walk me through that, you know?
it was like, so the process was like, I don't so compared to the process of Pumpkin Seeds or like any other project that I'm going to put out after this moment, or even like a lot of the projects before Still Children, it was more I want to make an album. My goal is to make an album from this. With Still Children, like I was just like, yo, like I want to rap. Like I just scrapped an album. I'm not really worried about making an album. I just want to rap. I'm not even worried about rap shop. I just want to rap. And I remember, and this was like the last time on record that I used type beats, and this helped me out so much, because it's like, yo, I was literally waking up every day, and it was like drills, bro. I'm like, all right, I wake up, find a type beat from the same producer. Shout out to Juno. It was this producer named Juno I found on YouTube. From the same producer, I wake up, find a beat, write the verse, record it, got a song. Next day, do the same thing, 2 songs. Next day, do the same thing, 3 songs. I traveled up to North Jersey. I traveled up to Hackensack with my boy, and that's the spot I made Traveling Local at. Once I made Traveling Local, I'm like, all right, okay, maybe I should just like make an album. And at this point in my artistry, bro, I was trying to like literally stay away from making albums, because I was like, bro, I'm gonna make an album and then I'm not gonna like it, because I'm gonna be working on it for 6 months and then I'm going to scrap the album. So I'm not gonna do that. And then I was like, nah, bro, fuck it. Like you got an idea here, you got something great, and you should do it. And I told myself, all right. And then I was like, bro, just like don't overthink it. You know what I'm saying? You got this far, you have 7, 8 songs that you didn't think about making an album with. Just keep doing that, keep making songs. Kept writing, kept making songs, and then before I knew it, I had like a project worth of songs. And then there was a lot of songs that didn't make it, and that's when I started doing the shit where I dropped like a 5, 6 pack on SoundCloud of songs that didn't make the album. I low-key did that with Pumpkin Seeds, but I thought Pumpkin Seeds was gonna come out last year, so that version of the tape came out last year. But I put out this shit called Follow on SoundCloud, and this was like in the
Yep.
middle of me working on it. And I was like, all right, this is cool. And I really like a lot of the songs on Follow to this day. And I listened to them and I could tell like, yo, I was really like trying to push my pen. You know what I'm saying? But then like Still Children, I forgot when I had the name. I probably had the name after like the first 3 songs. That's how I knew it was meant. You know what I'm saying? Like album names for me, bro, they usually always come to me within like the first steps of me creating it. It's never like I'm never like stuck on an album name. And if I am, then I'll probably like go with something that doesn't take as long to come up with. But I had
Yeah.
the name Still Children for a while. And then this is January, I think. January is when I went to Hackensack. And then like through the next couple months, I was just like, all right, you know what I'm saying? I want to drop this project. And then, like I said, the year before this, I was kind of like cultivating a fan base around here of supporters and everything. Early 2022 is when I kind of like started to push that to the internet more. You know what I'm saying? I started to meet with more like-minded individuals, other artists, rap homies and shit that I still hold close to this day. I started getting into it with them and everything. And then like put out Still Children. And that's what I felt like was my introduction to like, for lack of a better term. And what's crazy about that album, like even to this day, is like you were saying, like it's coming on 3 years, but like, bro, my album dropped what, a week ago, maybe, like maybe just a week ago. Before that, like people's only reference to me in a body of work was a project that I made 2 years ago. You know what I'm saying? And that's crazy to me. And like I realized that like probably when the project was only like a year old and Pumpkin Seeds was still yet to come out, or so I thought. I was like, damn, like I really want to put this album out because it's like people tap into my shit and like they only hear the perspective that I had a year ago, you know what I'm saying? Or like a year and 6 months ago. Like I want them to hear this new shit. And it
Yeah.
tested my patience. It tested my faith a lot through the process of Pumpkin Seeds. But one thing that kind of kept me grounded was I was like, yo, like Still Children is still like a really dope album. And even if I feel like it's not my best work, even if I feel like I could do so much better, I'm sitting on so much better, like I don't have a problem that people turn on Wiseboy Jeremy in 2024 or any year from now on and would listen to Still Children, because I feel like it's a very important and pivotal album in my process in my life. And like that's the thing with my projects, like it's just like where I'm at that point in life, you know what I'm saying? So even though I was just rapping on Still Children and I wasn't really trying to be too heavy with the concepts and everything, like it still like tells a story of like where I was, you know what I'm saying, like what I was doing, what I was into,
Right.
the people I was hanging around. Like it still is appearing to the lens of, you know what I'm saying, my life at the time. So yeah, that was a very long-winded answer, but shout out to Still Children.
Nah, I feel you. I'm happy you got that detail because like that's what I noticed when I was listening to these two projects is that like they're both very much about you and they
Mhm.
very much feel like kind of like signpostings, and it's just like a like a like a status update, like
Literally,
these are
bro.
like status update projects, but like there really is, like it's like a, I mean, like the sounds are different. Like the thing that's really special about Pumpkin Seeds is just like the sound is so fleshed out and so
Right.
cinematic and so like expansive, like like what you and Kirti, like you and Kirti's chemistry is something that really feels like it feels like it was a godsend, and it feels like that's the thing that you were looking for to really kind of like take you to the next level. So
Literally.
talk to me about meeting Kirti for the first time, and like when you first realized that like, oh, I'm gonna make a whole project with this guy one day.
Bro, I'm so glad you asked this question because I've been waiting to tell this story in full for years now, like since it happened, bro. So,
Let's go.
all right, so it is June of 2022, right? So, like we just discussed, I'm just coming off of Still Children, and I'm kind of like back in that mode where I'm not really making a project, but this time, like I'm actually making a project. Like I just dropped the project, and now I'm more focused on promoting it. I don't really want to put nothing out. You know what I'm saying? So I'm kind of just writing. I'm working with more producers now. This is when I completely stopped using the type beats because when I put Still Children out, it was a lot of producers in the scene that were going crazy. And I was like, all right, I want to build relationships with these guys and shit like that. So that's what I'm doing. And mind you, I knew who Kirti was because he had some joints with my dog Wakai, who was one of the first people that I met in this scene. Shout out to my brother.
Shout out.
Uh,
Shout out to Wakai.
so I knew of his work from Wakai, and I knew that he was ill. And I did this show in New York in June of 2022. It was like the end of June, and I met my homie Ja, and my homie sent me a pack of 3 beats, and I think 2 of the beats he had made with Kirti, but I didn't know that because it didn't say that on the beats. It was just the name of the beat, the BPM, and everything. And bro, I was so hungry, bro. I was so hungry at this point in my life. Like, this is definitely a hunger that like I cannot wait to like live through again. You know what I'm saying? Like, I was so hungry. Like, I cannot explain it to you, bro. Like, he sent me these beats. I sent him back shit the next morning. And he's like, yo, like, this is crazy. He was like, yo, I also got a pack from Kirti I want to send to you. So I'm like, damn, okay. So mind you, I didn't formally meet Kirti at all. He's just like, yo, I got a pack from Kirti I want to send to you. And at this time, I didn't even know like, he had a crazy connection to Kirti like that. But they've been homies type shit. And I'm like, all right, cool. Sends me a pack of Kirti beats. It's like in here. I'm like, okay. I go through the pack, and the first beat that speaks to me, the first beat that I write to, the first beat that I send back to Kirti with a draft over it was Live to See, which was the first song that me and Kurt ever released together, right? So
Yep.
I make Live to See, and he's like, yo, we got one, but we really got two because I co-produced the beat that you rapped on that Josh sent you. So I'm like, oh, word, okay. So let's keep going. I go into the pack, I get another beat, and now I have 3 songs. And like I said, just coming off of Still Children. But then I was like, damn, like, okay, right now it's what, like July? Yeah, it's like July or something like that. I'm like, bro, let's put out an EP. Fuck it. Let's keep striking while the iron's hot. Let's keep going. And Kirti was the one that was like, bro, like, let's make an album, bro. And that has always been a dream of mine, bro. Like, always, like the producer rap duos that put out the album and it's both of their names on it, and it's just the illest shit ever. Like, word to Mad Villainy, word to Alfredo, shit like that. Like, I'm like, yo, like, I want to do some shit like that. And then he was just like, yo, like, let's make an album. Hold on to these 3. And I was like, all right, cool. I held on to those 3, and that's exactly what we did. Like, through the next months of the second half of 2022, I was just making joints. Kirti just sending joints. I'm just making them. And bro, like, through this point, like, this is when I realized that whatever shit that I'm on right now is not permanent. You know what I'm saying? So every revelation that I had before about my sound changing, my sound evolving, when I started cooking with Kirti, I was like, bro, like, it really just depends on the sonics, bro. Like, my sound, my voice, my cadence, my written output, that's going to change depending on what I'm rapping over, what type of production I'm on, how I feel at the moment. You know what I'm saying? Because like, bro, when I was cooking with Kirti, I was on such different shit, bro. Like, I like to this day, and like, it's so great. I'm so grateful that the album is out now, so motherfuckers can hear what we was on back last summer or a couple summers ago. But bro, like, it was just like amazing us, like, even as the creators, like everything that we would send back, we're like, oh yeah, album this, like, and it was a lot of, obviously it was songs that like I wanted on there that didn't make it. It was songs that he wanted on there that didn't make it. But like, I can confidently say this is a great album because every song that made it, we were unanimously like, oh yeah, that's it. This song goes here. Like, when I sent back over and over, he had sent that beat. I think 3 hours later, I'm like, yo, this is the intro. He was like, yo, this is the fucking intro. And same thing for like, there was like other beats like Passing Dimes, right? Like, he had sent that beat to another rapper, and I think I had like sent it back. I think it was like a week or 2 later, maybe like 3 weeks, approaching a month. I sent it back to him, and he was just like, yo, like, bro, I already sent this beat to another rapper, but like, I'm about to take it out the pack. Like, we got to put this on Pumpkin Seeds. And there was a lot of joints like that where it was just kind of like, it kind of took me a minute to speak over them because, mind you, me and Kirti were like cooking OD through this process. Like, we probably got close to like 60 songs by now. You know what I'm saying? And that are just, a lot of them are floating around. Some of them are probably just on like the B side, but we were real specific and articulate with the ones that we put onto Pumpkin Seeds. And I feel like it's beautiful how it came together, because this is really just me talking about my life. And Kurt is kind of just helping me orchestrate that. You know what I'm saying? Like, he's helping me sonically tell this story, you know what I'm saying? Down to like the singles that we chose to put out, down to like the structure of the project, down to like the mixing, the transitions, like everything was very intentional. You know what I'm saying? Like, I made sure to go to Virginia the 2 times that we thought we finished the album, just to make sure we could be in person and kind of like have that synergy to create the album and make it one piece, and then be like, all right, we good. You know what I'm saying? Like, there were songs that were mixed remotely. There was obviously, everything was made remotely. I don't think none of these songs I recorded with Kirti. But when it came to like structuring the album, like, we made sure to be together for that, because we knew what we were doing. You know what I'm saying? We knew that we knew what this album could possibly be, and we had to put everything into that. You know what I'm saying? And this album would not be anything near what it was. Like, all right, cool, sending everything. online back and forth and just kind of like letting anything go on the project, like every song that we made. And we would have put the album out 2 years ago. You know what I'm saying? We wouldn't have waited. I wouldn't have had the outro for the album because I didn't make the outro until June of this year. You know what I'm saying? And I thought that the album was finished when I made the last song for it, which was March of 2023. You get what I'm saying? So like a year and a couple months after, there's still perspective that I can add to this project. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, man, it was a very lengthy process, but I'm so thankful for everything that I learned. I'm so grateful for my growth as a person, as a human being during the project. I'm happy that me and Kurt's
Yeah.
relationship grew. Like, that's became my brother through this process. And off the bat, our chemistry was just like very special. And I think that we knew that, you know what I'm saying? Like we could tell, like, all right, we got something, you know what I'm saying? And this is like he's an amazing producer in his own right. I feel like I'm a very, very great rapper in my own right. But it's just like when we came together, we knew that like we're dealing with something here. Like maybe I can't really do this over this type of production, or maybe he can't really get this perspective when working with X and Y. You know what I'm saying? And not that that's a bad thing, like we were saying earlier.
Right. Yeah,
Everything
yeah,
is your
yeah.
output, everything. But it's just like we knew that what we're doing is like, nah, like the universe needs this. Like the universe needs us to create an album and put this out because like there's nobody else that could do that. And I think that that's how every creative should feel about their output. Like you got to understand like what you're bringing to the table. Your strength and your strong suit should be the fact that nobody could do it. You know what I'm saying? Not necessarily that you're better than nobody, not necessarily that, you know what I'm saying, you got more money or more whatever, but like, yo, like you should find your pride and your strength in the fact that what you're doing, nobody else could do it. You know what I'm saying? And that's what
Right.
me and Kirti knew. Like when we joined forces, we were like, yo, like, you know what I'm saying? We want to be one of the best producer rap duos in hip hop. You know what I'm saying? Like that's the stain that we want to put out. We want to put out one of the best producer rapper collab albums in hip hop. You know what I'm saying? So we just kind of knew that we had the music, we had the chemistry, which was the first step, but we had to go that extra mile to really like piece the project together and like make it like complete the thought. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah, easy. And I'm happy you brought that up about over and over in particular, because when I
Mm-hmm.
first heard the project, like I heard that song and I was like, oh, this sounds like an intro. Like not every project that drops will have a first track that sounds like it belongs at the top. And like I could tell
Word.
just based off of that one moment that was like, oh, they thought about the way they wanted to sequence this. And of course, like going through and hearing it, what's it called? Like Pedal the Av sounds like it
Mm-hmm.
should be before Seed Root.
Right.
And Passing Dimes feels like it should be before Like Home. And Church Doors feels like it should be before Eyes Water. Like these,
Thank you, bro.
like all of this, like I noticed it, like especially re-listening to it earlier today,
Mm-hmm.
like I could tell that y'all really locked in and we're like, this is how we want the project to sound. Like sequencing, like if you want to make an album and a statement and be like, hey, we're two of the best doing it right now, like sequencing is going to do it for you every time. And
Literally.
like the thing that really got me is like, this album's called Pumpkin Seeds. I want to know why you chose the name Pumpkin Seeds, but it works for me personally, even without knowing the context just yet, because this
Mm-hmm.
feels like a fall album. Like this does feel like like changing of the guard. It's starting to get colder. It's hoodie season.
Right.
Like throw on, like start to throw on like slightly tougher jackets, like type shit. Like, so
Mm-hmm.
what was it about? Like where did the name Pumpkin Seeds come from, and like why did you feel the need to give it this like fall, or I mean, like I don't know if you intentionally gave it a fall type of vibe, but like it feels like
Mm-hmm.
a fall album, like
Word. I the fall and like seasonal shit definitely was not intentional, but I was talking to my homie and I was like, I'm glad that we waited because like it just makes so much sense. Like I wouldn't have wanted to drop this album any other time than like right now. You know what I'm saying? The season's changing, fall's coming in, and that's been something that I've heard like a lot throughout people's reaction to this album. It's like, yo, this is the perfect fall album. Like this is like a spooky season. Like everybody's been like really enjoying the time that it came out. But pumpkin
yeah,
seeds, I was reading about pumpkin seeds a couple years ago, and they can like help heal wounds and everything. And I was like, yo, like this
right,
album genuinely feels like healing for me, bro. Like I feel like if Still Children was me like kicking down the door, like aggressive as shit, like loud as hell, like killing the vibe, like everybody in the room looks over and like, why did this nigga just kick in the door and not just open it? I'm kicking down the
yeah,
door and I'm just like, yo, I could rap. I could fucking rap. Pumpkin Seeds is me just like, all right, bro, like niggas know I can rap, and more importantly, I know that I can rap. So I'm not really trying to prove that or scratch that itch no more. I want to tell a story. I want to tell my story. I want to be more vulnerable. Like, I want to slow shit down with the music. You know what I'm saying? Every feature, I want to be intentional. I want them to come and lay their perspective over this song, how I feel that they should. And mind you, I didn't, when I send songs out to this day, I'm never the type of person that's like, yo, I think you should talk about this, or I think you should blah blah blah. I kind of just give the open, and if it's right, every single time they kind of just like fill in the blank perfectly. Like when Phoenix sent her verse back for Do I Not, I listened to that shit
Yeah.
all day from like 5 p.m. to like 11 at night. I was just like, yo,
And
like
that shit
this
is
is crazy.
hard too. Shout out
Yes,
to her.
bro.
That's amazing.
He
Yeah.
went crazy. Like when Anasia sent back the hook for the outro, me and everybody around me was just like, yo, like that is it. That was the last piece that you needed for that song. When Makai sent his verse back for Passing Dimes, it was like, yo, this is it. You know what I'm saying? Like everything made sense. And like I feel like us picking the features for certain songs or like figuring out who we want on them, that kind of like played into that process. Because like if I had approached like Pink Seafood with like a Do I Not or something, it wouldn't have worked as good. If I had approached
Right.
Phoenix for like a Church Doors or something, it might not have worked out the way it did with her being on Do I Not or Seafood being on Eyes Water. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, bro, like just keeping that intention the whole time was like our goal. And back to the healing thing, I feel like the songs that they were on, all the features, I feel like it kind of just made sense. Like Do I Not for me was self-reflection, you know what I'm saying? And I feel like Phoenix was talking about some self-reflecting shit. Passing Dimes was kind of me talking about how I came up, the shit that I was seeing in New Jersey with my friends and everything. And then Kai came on and he's kind of talking about his perspective growing up in BR and everything, like conversations with his father and shit like that. And that was just natural, you know what I'm saying? They kind of just, I feel like my energy just kind of bled through the song. And then they kind of were like, all right, I got to come like this. I got to say this on this record. And it was perfect, bro. Like every feature that is on the project, I think that is perfect. I think they're amazing as people and artists, and I got endless like gratitude for all of them for being a part of this project with me and Kirti. And I know Kirti
Right.
is too, bro. And this album wouldn't be what it is without the features. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Absolutely. And you know, like I mean, like the features are all great, and but like the only other thing that I feel like ties this whole project together, besides you and Kurt, is the narrator who you have pop up every once in a while throughout like a
Word.
handful of songs. So who is that? I don't know who this is.
So
Like,
it's actually a couple different people, and like everybody's kind of like saying different things. So the intro, my homie Cortland, shout out to Cortland. I remember I went to Utah to shoot a video like last year, like last March. I went to Utah to shoot a video with the homie Zaire, and it was actually a song with Phoenix on it, but she wasn't in Utah with us shooting a video. And when I went out there, it was me, Zaire, and it was a couple of his other homies from like down south. You know what I'm saying? Like they were from Louisiana. And like through that whole process, like, you know what I'm saying? You get there in the first night, like it was my first time being like any of the states that I traveled through. It was my first time being in Louisiana, Texas, Utah, everywhere that we were. It was kind of like it was a first for me. You know what I'm saying? So I'm kind of just learning. I'm very wide-eyed. I'm curious. You know what I mean? And through that whole process, by the end of the trip, like the camaraderie that we built was amazing. Like we all felt like we were leaving this trip as brothers, and we had
right,
kept in contact with each other. You know what I'm saying? And I remember I was writing some songs with my homie Cortland, but where we had connected was like he felt like what I was putting into the music, he felt like that's what he puts in the photography. You get what I'm saying? So like that's where we connected, just like having that creative outlet that like you want nothing else but to do it. You know what I'm saying? And mind you, that was like radiating during this time. You know what I'm saying? This is another time I feel like I was really hungry, but like as soon as I got to Utah, every stop, whether we stopped in Texas, whether we settled in Utah, like I'm setting up my mic, I'm setting up my interface, and I'm going. I'm looking through the beats that I got, and I'm just recording songs. You know what I'm saying? And I remember Courtney was talking to me about that. He was like, "Yo, like that's really inspiring. Like that's how I feel with like this photo shit, bro. Like I feel like I put everything into it. Like every chance I get, I just want to take a picture. I want to snap a moment." And I'm working this fucking dead end car job that I'm completely not happy at, and I'm on my break smoking. And he had sent me that voice memo. He was just like, "Yo, literally like what he said in the joint." He was like, "Yo, I'm literally just sending this to you so I can remember the flow." And bro, like when I said that shit, it like literally spoke to me. Like man, like it touched my heart on some shit. And I was just like, bro, like this perfectly encapsulates what I'm going through right now. I feel like I got this album finished. I feel like I want to put out this album. And at this point, mid 2023, I'm dealing with external factors. That's like the reason that the album's not coming out. You know what I'm saying? I'm trying to like um strengthen this or strengthen that, or this is after, or this is before I signed with my distro. So I'm like, all right, I know I got this album I want to give to the distro, so I can't put it out until I sign with them and we put in the proper steps to like do this and that. You know what I'm saying? I just got management and my manager's telling me, yo, we should do this, we should set this in place, we should, you know what I'm saying? Like he was trying to set me up to you know what I'm saying, really do good because he knew that I had a great album, you know what I'm saying? And I'm thankful for my label, I'm thankful for my manager, for just all the time, the hours, the insight that they gave me, the gems to put this project out in the proper way. But at this time, I'm very frustrated as an artist, bro. I'm like, yo, I want to put this fucking album out. I don't know why, like, shit is taking so long. He sends me that, and I'm like, yo, I text him. I'm like, yo, can I please put this on my album? And he's just like, yeah. So then I remember I had found a video of Kirti making the beat in my phone for over and over. I Shazammed the sample, and when I Shazammed it, I ripped it off YouTube, and then that's when I cut it up and made the intro. And that was that Condition Love Heals Wounds. I think the next joint is on Seed Root, I believe. And that is like, that is a tried and true skit, like 100%. I just wanted to put something funny on the album. I wanted to have that break, like the old hip hop shit. Like when I was listening to Kendrick and Eminem, I wanted to have that break where it's just like some funny skit over this crazy ass beat. And like, just as expected, there would be people that are like, yo, why didn't you rap on this beat? Or like, why didn't you have this beat playing for longer? It's like, that's exactly what we wanted. But I had, it was this online talent, something that some of the homies were doing. And it was just a lot of people in there. And there was this one dude that was just like, he was just roasting, bro, and that's what it was, and it shocked everybody. Like he came in there, he was wild, disrespectful to them, and like it was funny. Like at the root of it, it was funny. It was just very unexpected, and like I hit him after, and I was like, "Yo, like I'll pay you and everything. I want you to do some shit for my album," and then that's when he kind of did that skit. And I think the next one is on Like Home. That's my homie Arv, amazing person, amazing creative, amazing photographer, videographer. She's amazing, very very lit in real life, and I love her to death. And she's always like, just like the conversations that we have always put me in a different place. Like she's one of those people where like we talk and I'm always gonna like leave with something. And that specific skit, she was talking about a show that I did, and she was just kind of talking about how I was building a world within the show. You know what I'm saying? Like I wasn't like completely sad or happy or upbeat through the whole thing. I kind of was like going through a range of emotions and like bringing the crowd with me. You know what I'm saying? And it was
Yeah.
like that show specifically, it was a crazy duality because like there was times where the crowd is literally jumping, like we're wild in this basement, blah blah blah, and then like by the end of the set, there's like people sobbing, you know what I'm saying? Like people like, wow, like that was really crazy. You know what I mean? And she was just talking about that show. And Like Home in general as a song was not gonna be on the album at first, but the night that we decided it was gonna be on the album, I stayed up all night. I was like, yo, I need to like find something else to like finish the song, like another element. I found that voice memo and it was mad long, but I was like, nah, I gotta keep every word she's saying in here. I'm gonna just make the intro a minute long. Fuck it. And I think the last one on it. No. I think Redman is on Job Never Done. There's Redman on
Yep.
Job Never Done. Shout out to Redman, Jersey. And then
Yep. Jersey's finest.
literally, and then Dr. Jawanza, who was a professor. I don't know if you heard of him. I think he was around like, I want to say the 80s, maybe 80s, 90s, but it was like I was just on some YouTube shit, and like I think YouTube is probably one of the greatest archives that we have. I remember earlier you were talking about finding like some of the shit that we can't necessarily find physically on YouTube. Yeah, YouTube
Yeah.
has literally everything, bro. And I think YouTube is an
Priceless
amazing
resource, bro.
tool, literally, bro. And like I find so much music on YouTube. I found so much there's so much shit to learn and so much stuff that's like I just love finding something that I'm like, yo, like I don't think I would have found this if I didn't go down this rabbit hole or something. Or like there's probably nobody else like my age that's ever seen no shit like this, you know what I'm saying? Like random
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
documentaries or whatever. But I found Dr. Jawanza and he was big on like you know what I'm saying? He was like a Malcolm X, Marcus Garvey, but in a more like palatable, like professor type vibe. You know what I'm saying? And I was just watching one of his speeches one day, and he was just talking about how we're not the minority at all. But if mentally we are a minority, then that's why we're going to continue to like carry on the legacy of a minority. And it's like, how can white people control, or how can white people have such little numbers compared to colored people in the grand scheme of things, but how can they control so much? Because they can control the mind. And if you can control the mind, you can control the mind. And that wraps up the cover of the album, because the album cover, which I've never explained before, but the album cover is like, imagine a dystopian society and you just see the American flag burning in like a random tree. It's not burning, but it's like shards of the American flag in a tree, and it's just three black boys. I see that as the future. I don't see that as the past or like ancient or like another country as people might see. I see that as the future. And all that we are gonna have in this shit is ourselves. You know what I'm saying? Like that's it. It's just these three little boys. They got their resources, they got their bike, and that's how the album felt for me. You know what I'm saying? Like Home and Passing Dimes. I feel like those songs encapsulate, or Church Doors encapsulate the whole idea of the album, because it's like, bro, New Jersey is all that I have. And it's not all that I have, but it is all that I have. You know what I'm saying? Like when I made Over and Over, bro, literally like just got back from Jersey, and I was just not back from Jersey. I just got back from New York, and I was dealing with like family trouble. You know what I'm saying? Shit that was going on in my house. And I remember New York was like an escape for me. And then I would do all this in New York, and I would be staying out there for like weekends on weekends. And I would come back and I was dealing with the same shit at home. And I'm just like, bro, like I feel like I'm going through this shit over and over. And then that was like the fuel for that song. But as you can see, like when the album starts off, it's very, very up tempo, because I felt like I had a grasp of my feelings, and I definitely did. And I felt like I knew how I wanted to execute them. So you can see Over and Over is just like super heavy, super busy. It's like East Coast shit. And it's just like, ooh, like, you know what I'm saying? You rock to it, but then you get to flow state, and it's just like, yo, I kind of know how I feel, but I don't necessarily know how to go about it. But like, I have to try to understand this in any way that I know how. Like, I have no choice.
Yeah.
I'm here, I'm living, I'm alive. I cannot continue to go without me trying to understand what I'm going through. And that's what flow state was for me. You know what I'm saying? So like, just the duality of coming from Over and Over. So I'm so certain of how I feel that I could make this rap song about it, where you probably don't even know that the song is about some depressing shit. The beat is just crazy. The refrain is crazy. And you kind of just listening to me like move through these drums on the verses, whereas flow state, you kind of got no choice but to listen to what I'm saying, because the beat is so stripped down and my cadence is kind of just like, you know what I'm saying? Like Over and Over. If I record it over and over and I'm like this, like my chest out, like flow state, I'm kind of just like relaxed, just like laid down. It's just like, I need to say this. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But yeah, bro, I definitely forgot the question, but that is Pumpkin Seeds.
Nah, I mean, like you basically went into every possible thing that I could have asked. Like you like broke down songs. Like I had really just asked like what the title meant to you, but and like okay, I'm glad that nah, I'm just not like I'm glad you went that far into it, because it was just like just being able to like sit and listen and take it in, like like as like I've listened to it a bunch already, but I'm excited to really sit with it even more and like really get into a lot of these details that you're talking about. Like I was able to glean certain things, but not really like, obviously I have the context now, and anybody listening has context now, and I'm happy to kind of give you a minute to just like get your shit off about like what you were trying to do with this, because this feels cool and special in that regard. Damn, man, like I feel like we could sit here and talk for another like 2-3 hours.
Literally, bro.
God damn. So like, okay, so to wrap this all up, Jeremy, Wiseboy Jeremy, Yaji, if your life was a movie, what would it be about?
If my life was a movie, what would it be about?
Yeah.
New Jersey.
Yeah.
It would be about New Jersey. 100%. And my life is going to be put into a movie, and it's going to be about New Jersey. I'm saying that right now on Real Notes. My life is going to be put into a movie, and it's going to be about New Jersey. I don't know when it's going to come out. I don't even know when I'm going to start writing that shit. But yeah, I am putting out many books and many movies, and a lot of them will be about New Jersey. So like, when I'm done with the rap shit, I'm never going to be done with the rap shit, but when I'm done with the rap shit, I'm going to be expressing myself in so many other mediums, and like movies, literature is definitely one of them. You know what I'm saying? So I can't wait for that chapter of my life, and I'm taking my time. I'm not in no rush to get there, but like, for everybody listening, just understand that my creative mediums will never end, and I'm probably going to be putting out, I just got a call. I'm sorry. Did it like fuck up? Oh no, we're good.
You good.
What was I saying? Yeah, y'all see so much shit from me that is not music. And yeah, great question. My life will be a movie. It will be about New Jersey.
Man, okay. So before we hop off, I want to ask. I mean, like like me, like we're both from Jersey. It's very
Mm-hmm.
important to both of us. Like the air, like every area of the state is having a moment right now, like between the club shit and the more traditional shit,
Right.
experimental shit, like everything. So like, what do you feel? What do you feel makes Jersey the most special?
Cause literally exactly what you said, bro. Like it's a melting pot of a bunch of different mediums. You know what I'm saying? Like we don't really have a sound necessarily. Like we do. If people think of Jersey, like Redman said on my project, they think of the club shit. But we got a lot of people
Yeah,
out here that are really trying to like push the narrative, that are really trying to like do something and build a world because like we don't have a choice but to. You know what I'm saying? Like we didn't grow up with 1.5 million references. We didn't grow up seeing X amount of people every day. You know what I'm saying? We kind of had to like find what moves us on the inside and follow that. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't really nothing that was handed to us. So
right.
everybody that is like building a world out of New Jersey, like I understand that. I get that and I commend them for that because I don't even want to say I know how hard that is because I don't think it's a hard thing to just follow your spirit and understand what you want to do. But I know like what it takes. You know what I'm saying? Like you got to be about that shit. You have to be about that world that you're trying to build and cultivate and bring people into at the end of the day. You know what I'm saying? So that's what I love about
Yeah,
Jersey,
bro.
especially like my close quarters and the people that I be fucking with around South Jersey and shit like that. Like everybody's on some different shit. Nobody's trying to like step on nobody's toes. Nobody like, you know what I'm saying? For the most part, there's really not a lot of ego. I can't, you know what I'm saying? There's probably like I don't fuck with everybody that be making music in South Jersey. I could definitely say that on record. But the people that I'm fucking with, like we definitely have like a clear common goal. And we're not really trying to like, you know what I'm saying, get in the way of nobody or nothing like that. So man, shout out to them. Shout out to South Jersey and everything that we got going on. I think that next year and the years following is gonna be crazy, bro. Like the resurgence of New Jersey, not only in hip hop, but in arts is gonna be like it's gonna be wild, bro. Like we're gonna be a force
Yeah, man.
to literally be reckoned with. I swear to God.
Easy, easy, easy. And like last thing I want to say before we officially sign off, I mean, like, like it's like we just kind of get in where we fit in and we just kind of got our own thing going on here. I mean, like in North Jersey,
Literally.
we got the influence. In North Jersey, we got like influence coming in from New York. In South
Right.
Jersey, y'all got shit coming up from Philly. And
Philly,
like,
exactly.
and you're like, there's a lot of we just take that and make it our own. Like there's no like one thing that can define Jersey, but we can just kind of like I mean, like when I think of rappers specifically, like we have just about every kind of rapper you could possibly imagine, and
Literally, bro.
not every place can say that. So like
Hmm.
that's like like that's what I love about Jersey, and obviously like the fact that we just like I don't know we got crazy food down here.
We
um,
do, bro.
yeah, no, we go, yeah, no, we go nuts with the food. There have been some people who told me they like Jersey pizza more than they like New York pizza, but that's a whole other conversation that we can have another
I'm one
time.
of those people. I'm one of those people. We don't gotta have the convo right now, but I'm letting you know I'm definitely one of those people.
Let's
I
go.
definitely prefer New Jersey pizza over New York pizza. But I don't know. Maybe I haven't had a traditional New York slice. I feel like any of my New York homies would hear that and be like, "Nah, bro, you gotta go X, Y, and Z." But like, I've had various
Yeah,
New
yeah,
York
yeah.
pizza, and like the spot that's 15 minutes away from my crib has done it much better multiple times. So yeah, I'm
Felt.
gonna stick with Jersey.
Yeah, bro. You can't put a price on that shit.
Not
Jeremy,
at
this was
all.
great. Thank you, bro.
Amazing, bro.
This
Thank
was
you.
crazy. Yo, man. Like, yeah, like I already said everything before, but like it's I'm always really struck by people who put as much of themselves into a project and are as like bold and honest about where they come from and where they want to go as you are. And like
Hmm.
this is one of those. So like congratulations to you and Kurt for putting your heads together and like really,
Thank you, my dog.
like ripping like a piece of y'all's hearts out and giving it to us. So and like I'm yeah, just like I know this came together last minute. Thank you so much for like making the time. I'm a mess
Of
right
course,
now
bro.
for reasons I can't talk about, but yeah.
That's real, bro. But yeah, I appreciate you having me on here, bro. It was a very dope conversation. I'm definitely going to carry this energy into the city tonight because this was, you know what I'm saying? I didn't have the best start to my day, but like this definitely like brightened me up and like heightened my shit. So thank you, bro.
That's what we're here for, man. I'd love to hear that. Thanks for listening. Shout out to y'all for making it this far. And shout out to all the black people listening too, because y'all really impeccable. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and tell a friend to come through next time. 1.